like beer?
Beer.
Do you like rock and roll?
I'm allergic to penicillin.
Do you like drunk Australians?
Beer.
Do you like interviews with bands exploring facets of entertainers' lives best left to the imagination and possibly not presented on a radio show?
I don't know where this is going.
Jump on rogueintel.com/remedial.
Let's get swifty! Drop your pants and panties on the floor! I totally fucked up that intro, which was supposed to all be a reference to Rick and Morty and their classic song,
But this is the powerful Nerdcast. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody, what's up?
So, that's our intro.
Yep, today's our special patriotic-themed 4th of July episode. Not really at all, but you do have to remember that this is 4th of July weekend. Everybody's going to be having fun and remembering the dark times when the aliens invaded us and Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith saved the day. So this episode is dedicated to them, of course.
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah. You know what I love about that quote, Welcome to Earth? He doesn't say Earth in the movie,
he says
whatsoever.
Earth?
He totally says Earth. That's just people's racist perceptions of Will Smith from that movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just like saying it that way.
Don't get me wrong. It's fun to say, welcome to Earth. It really is. There's a lot of oomph behind that Earth, but that's not what Will Smith says in that movie.
So, did you see the sequel?
I did not see the sequel. Did it already come out?
Yeah. Came and went.
Independence Day 2 Resurgence.
I think it came out, or some early releases came out, because I've seen reviews all over the internet.
Yeah.
And no one likes it.
No, they're all saying the same thing. You know, Independence Day 2 is really boring.
But they left it open for Independence Day 3, just in case.
Really? Did we even need an Independence Day 2?
No. Most of those actors are like, I guess they just needed a paycheck.
I don't think Jeff Goldblum needed a damn paycheck.
He does those hotel commercials now.
Exactly. He's reaping in the rewards, not to mention all the royalties from his other classic movies. Obviously, they couldn't get Will Smith back, but the reason for that is supposedly he's working on that Suicide Squad movie.
He's still working on that? Oh, no, I guess they were filming at the same time.
Filming at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they're both coming out soon. Mm-hmm. That's exactly. Okay.
Yeah, they're only going to be separated by a couple of months, ultimately, when Suicide Squad is released. I think Will Smith made a pretty good decision, though, in not coming back to that movie.
He made a really good move.
Yeah.
Now, Olivia Munn did not make such a good move starring in X-Men Apocalypse instead of doing what's-his-name's girlfriend in Deadpool. I think one would have been a way better move.
Marina Baccarin, I think is what her name was from Deadpool.
Yeah. Missing the mark on that one, Olivia.
Yeah.
Still hot. I'd still do you, but your career sucks.
I'll take Marina Baccarin.
You will?
Over Olivia Munn any day.
I'll just take them both.
Yeah. No, that would be pretty cool. Simultaneous loving, baby.
Talking about
That's
you
right.
and me and you and you and you.
But if isn't it obvious, today's episode is very impromptu, but we do have a couple of things that we definitely want to talk about. The brand new Berserk Anime series just started today. I don't think it gets any more patriotic.
I mean,
than
if
seeing
you're
with a massive slab of iron just fucking up.
If you're into slice of life and comedies, this is the show for you.
Exactly. If you love the high school settings and drama, you're going to love Berserk. Check it out. It's really good.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. But other than that, we also have a few other things we want to talk about. Christian, you just got yourself a brand new addition to your family.
I did. I adopted a grandma. No, I'm kidding. I got a cat. I was like...
You adopted a grandma. Imagine that creepy process.
Yeah, you know. She smelled the least old lady-like, so I picked her out of the bunch.
Do you think they would, like, keep them in cages and shit?
Yeah, but would they have like one big lazy boy and they'd have like a bad big hamster wheel in there they could walk around on? I don't know. I'm just thinking about what a little old lady cube would look like as he walked by.
What I love about all of this is one of our associates is here and he's working on the side and he's just listening to all of this and I can see his expressions and he's like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
I don't know, man. 500 people listen to it every week. So someone likes it.
You guys are keeping us alive.
Yeah.
But what's it like having a new pet? I know it's been a long time.
So yeah, we went out and it was a big step for me because it was the first pet I've ever had that I was like, I want this. You know, not like, you know, when you're in a family and your mom and dad, you get a pet. It's kind of like your parents help you.
It's like a family decision.
Yeah,
too.
You know, or you bother your parents till they get you a dog and, you know, they kind of go pick it out or you all go as a family unit. But I was like, you know what? I want a pet. And recently I dog sat my sister's 100-pound German Shepherd and that got me out of the dog phase pretty quick because that dog was like too big, kind of too aggressive, not towards me, but it did not like new people, and it was just a scary dog. And I was like, I can't go live life with this animal at my house. But what I could do is get a cat, and once a cat's set up and it understands where its food is and everything, you can leave that cat solo for like 24 hours, and it's usually pretty good, as long as you change the litter and make sure it has water and food. So I was like, cat's the right move, and I didn't want any cat. It's actually a funny story. What really cemented it for me was the other day I was driving home from work and I saw a stray kitten walking in the road, like a very tiny, like 6-week-old kitten, which is like the tiny cute kittens. Like if you search on Google Images, that's what they look like, the little small kittens. And I saved this cat off the road. And it's so funny because the fucking Joe Rogan podcast influences me so much, man. I hate being such a tool, a Rogan sheep. But he had a guest on that was talking about, yeah, dude, like I have like 3 leashes in my car all the time. If I see a stray dog, I just have to pick it up and take it to the pound. I'm embedded to help animals.
You either look like an animal enthusiast or some sort of really sadistic serial killer.
Yeah, why you got all these leashes? I'm into that. What? Saving animals. And so I picked up this little kitty. I took it to the veterinarian clinic. It ended up having a lot of neurological damage, either from being in the sun, being born that way, or got hit by a car. So that kitten actually ended up getting put to sleep. But saving that cat and hearing that podcast about the guy that saves the cat inspired me to save that cat. And then I was like, I want to get a cat. This is it. I understand.
Take a drink every single time Christian says cat.
Cat, meow, meow. Yeah. So there I am, wanting a cat. But I don't want any type of cat. I was like, if that cat survived the getting hit by that car and stuff, I was going to adopt that cat. But that wasn't the pussy I was after. No. The one I wanted was a Bengal cat.
Yeah, and you were looking for that spotted pussy.
I want that shiny pussy. Is a Pokemon reference? Anyone? No? It's rare?
It's kind of clever, but go on.
Okay, so there I am. I wanted a Bengal cat. If you don't know what a Bengal cat is, it's like you can get a few different versions of them. There's silver versions, there's spotted versions, there's striped versions, and they come
Now that you mention it, I think mostly the Bengal cats that I've ever seen, like they've always been silver.
Yeah, silvers are the most sought after of them, but they're also very expensive. Like silver Bengals, show cat quality silver Bengal is about $3,000 to $5,000.
Damn!
So I was like immediately like, I'm not fucking buying that cat. Yeah. No way. Found a breeder, just Google searched in my state, found a breeder, called her. She's like, got 3 kittens left. And next day I just went there and picked one up. And now I have a Bengal cat, and I love that little fucker. And his name is Oliver. And he's a sweet little cat, and he is so brave. Like, usually when you get a cat, you kind of walk up on it, they, like, look at you all freaked out, like, what are you doing? They're just sort of nervous animals sometimes. But this cat, I guess because it's, like, part wild, is just so chill. It's like, whatever. It just has the best attitude, doesn't care who picks it up. And it's only a 10-week-old kitten, but it was the runt of the litter. And I like the runts. I don't know why. I always end up picking the runts of the litters out. And he's just a sweet little cat. And we picked out scratching posts. Me and my girlfriend were like, oh, it's like our first baby shopping trip. My girlfriend's super into like baby things. Something about girls. They're programmed about that stuff. And then, we picked out the litter box, the carrier, all that stuff. And I surprised her with it. And now he's part of the family, and he's a little sweetheart. You met him for the first time today.
Yeah, he was a cute little cat.
Yeah.
And pretty sociable, not mean at all.
Nope, likes people.
Clearly used to being around people and seems to like them. Very curious, but not too rambunctious.
That's the plus side of getting a cat from a breeder. You could stack the negative sides easily. These people are, puppy mills. You've heard those terms before where people crank out animals just to make money. But this lady is a show cat enthusiast that produces these cats and also loves them and socializes them. And they meet a lot of people because a lot of people come to visit her to see the cat. So they always get handled by a bunch of people. And to me, that creates a much more pleasant animal than maybe a cat or something that was abandoned and then gets thrown in a metal cage at the, wherever you adopt cats, and stuff. So those cats don't get introduced to the world with love like a breeder cat does from a reputable breeder.
It's traumatic from like the minute they're born.
Yeah. And every moment of a young animal's life is very important to shape their personality. So I think that it's off to a good start. It hasn't shit anywhere it's not supposed to. It hasn't chewed up anything it's not supposed to
It already
yet.
knows how to use a litter box and everything.
All that.
That's one thing I will give some fucking credit to for cats because, anybody who knows me personally, I'm not really much of a cat guy. I'm definitely more of a dog guy. But potty training a cat, so much freaking easier than potty training a dog.
Oh, they're programmed.
Yeah, I don't know how they're programmed.
It's called genetics.
Yeah.
What kind of voodoo magic is this?
I don't know. It's sorcery.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's always been the best thing about cats is just they learn that shit so damn quick. They tend to learn a lot of other stuff really quick, too. But I'm still definitely more of a dog guy, but I did like your cat. You know, I was a little nervous at first because I'm nervous around cats, period. My mom's cat, she has a kitten, too. She's had a kitten for a couple months now. That little thing's a bastard. I hate that thing.
When you told me at less than 10 weeks old, it already kills things and brings them back.
Yeah,
I was amazed
talking to my mom
by
on
that.
the phone the other day. She's like, "Oh yeah, my kitten just brought in a dead mole." I'm like, "What? Like a burrowing mole?" She's like, "Yeah, brought it up on the porch."
Like a diglet?
I'm like, "Mom, that's fucked up."
Like a diglet? I'm going to shove
When
it in his
Meowth
mouth.
killed a diglet.
Yeah, Mouth killed a diglet. For all our nerd fans out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cats are cool, and I love that they're independent. You know, you come home, cuddle for 5 minutes, they're like, that's cool, and then they back off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I like cats. I really like dogs, though.
Yeah.
I mean, dang, I like dogs, but man, my lifestyle is just not appropriate for a dog. Like,
No, you like you said, cats, you can, a couple years, you can train them, they can survive on their own pretty easily, and they're pretty independent of humans. Dogs are children.
yeah,
You
I mean,
have to be around them constantly.
if you're in the room, the dog is next to you.
Yeah.
And you go over there, the dog, even if the dog is in the different corner of the room, and then you decide to stand up and walk somewhere, the dog will have to stand up and follow you.
Mm-hmm.
It gets annoying. Maybe it's when you see them when they're young and they're cute, you don't care because they're like your little babies, but
Yeah. Then about 2 months in, you're like, oh man,
yeah.
this is kind of a job.
Yeah, and then if your dog is aggressive and may bite people, it makes it a liability. It makes you scared to bring people over to your house. You know,
Exactly.
like people have to go fuck with a cat to get hurt by a cat. Cats don't run up to you and fuck you up.
That's not to say that cats can't do that, but
Yeah.
I mean, you have to kind of actively try to make that happen.
Yeah, man, I loved my sister's German Shepherds that she let me borrow and house sit for a while, and it was just like the coolest dog. It was so smart, so like a
You could
wolf.
see in his eyes how he was calculating how he was going to kill you.
Yeah, like, man, I would like run in my backyard, like holding a stick out, and he would like run after me chasing it. But then soon he figured out, oh, if I bite this guy's legs, he can't run as fast. Like the dog was figuring out how to fuck me up, you know, as we were running. And I was like, this is like the closest thing to a wolf that I can legally own, this 110-100-pound German Shepherd, you know, somewhere in there. And so I was like, dang, like this is kind of terrifying, you know? So, but I loved him and he loved me and he was a really good dog, but you know, it scared me to bring him around new people. And we had a electric collar that we put on him for like training. And it's real funny because once a dog understands how electric collar works, you don't even have to zap them. Once you put it on, there's like, oh, on my best behavior. And they like look at you kind of like a dog looks at you when you have food. You know how like a dog will lock onto you?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Food?
Yeah.
Oh, I might get some of that.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, you want to tell me to do something. Like, oh, you want me to sit. You want me to lay. You want me to go there. So it's like it engages with you differently. I'm not sure if shock collars work great on all dogs, but this dog, it did. And also, just for the record, like there was a crank, like 1 to 100. We never put the zapper up more than 20%. You know, like, because you don't need to. The dog just needs to understand that you want it to listen, and then it stops doing whatever it's doing. But, you know, like, if new people come in the house, the dog just, like, barks way too aggressively and kind of comes at them, and you just zap him, and he just stops, and he's like, what do you want? Okay, just sit, lay here? Cool, I'll do that. So, like, it's good, because sometimes if you walk up to a dog and you whack it, it doesn't really understand what's going on, and it might think you're trying to jack it up more. You know, like, dogs don't always understand what's going on, so the zapper is, like, a good way to go about it. And it's just fun to electrocute animals, you know?
Jesus
Kidding!
Good God. Fucking future serial killer over here.
Yeah, you know?
I don't know, like, everybody has different viewpoints on this type of thing. You know, I personally don't like seeing dogs in collars. Or
You fucking PETA? You know, PETA wants all pets released into the wild because they think no one should own a
Now,
pet.
you see, that's stupid.
Because a dog would
Now,
never survive.
while I don't like seeing dogs in collars, I can sympathize with people who do like to keep their dog in collars for the main reason.
Now, you
I think
met that dog. Would you not want me to have an electric collar to stop that dog?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. Electric collars also kind of freak me out, but I don't know. If I was around that dog, it needs to be on a leash, though. And its owner needs to be holding on to it for dear life, because that dog was fucking intimidating as hell, man.
You were one of the people.
Stare into your soul.
You weren't on the inner circle, so you saw that dog come at you in a very sort of like, I'm going to check you.
It
you
saw
know?
me as a predator.
Yeah.
fucking it was Chris Hansen and I was the Predator. Like, it was fucked up, man.
Yeah, have a seat right there. That's what the dog told you.
I always imagine Chris Hansen's voice coming out of that fucking dog. That or fucking Kevin Spacey from Seven. All I know is that dog fucking creeped my ass out.
Yeah.
But it was probably a really good guard dog. But
Dude.
going back to like dogs and collars, most important thing about a collar, obviously, is the name and the ID and where they're located. I think that's an important thing. Like, if a dog runs away from home and it gets found, that's probably the best thing about a collar. But like, whenever we had dogs at my house growing up and everything, we lived on our own property, so we're like, fuck that, collars don't even exist. And
Well, yeah, because the dog wouldn't physically leave the property, because a dog doesn't want to leave more than, like, let's say you had 10 acres.
Yeah.
Dog's never going to go more than 4 acres away from your house because it doesn't want to, But, if you were in a normal neighborhood with all the distraction, cars and things, like, it's probably good to have a collar on your dog.
Yeah, definitely.
And, again, I want to also stress, so people don't think I'm an asshole with this electric collar, we didn't leave that on all day.
Yeah.
What we did is, if someone was coming over, and if we wanted to introduce the dog to them, we would leave the electric collar on. Or we took the dog for a walk, and it might run into another dog, it might run into another person. That's when the electric collar was on. That didn't stay on the dog all day. It stayed on the dog 10% of the day when needed. So just so people don't think I'm an asshole. But also, electric collars are not bad. They're not inhumane. Like I said, they just get the dog's attention and shock the shit out of it.
Jesus. Without a visual image, you can't tell that Christian's really joking. By the way, guys, we do apologize. There is no video for this edition of the podcast. We're still sort of working out some of the kinks. We're definitely going to get that going in the next couple of podcasts, because we know that you guys want to see video, and we also know that you want to see the return of awkward Imager readings, which is something that we definitely want to bring back. Imager. Everybody says it a different way.
Well, we both say it different ways, so it's confusing as fuck.
Tomato, suck my ass. It's all done. All right. So you got yourself a cat. You named him Oliver. Why'd you name him that?
Because my girlfriend.
Oh, simple as that.
Yeah. You can't win. You can't win all the battles.
Absolute power. Okay.
Well, she proposed the name, and I proposed like stupid names like Laser Beam, and like Butt Plug, and I was like, why can't we name
Butt Plug?
Why can't we name the cat something
Isn't that
fun?
like what? No, I'm thinking of Dumb and Dumber 2.
Did they name their
They
animal?
named their cat, I think, Butthole.
Oh yeah, because like he's got one.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the other thing?
That's how deep that movie goes.
I think I was going for a few fun names like Sir Gregor from the Mountain, from Game of Thrones.
That was his original name, correct?
Yeah, that's what the name he came from, the breeder. And I thought it was funny. Oh, it's the runt, name him the Mountain. It's kind of a joke.
So this breeder, who's a cat show enthusiast, is also a big fan of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we originally made contact with her on Sunday, the day of the premiere, or the day of the finale of Game of Thrones, which we should talk about that maybe, even though you haven't seen everything. And she's like, you can come over whenever you want, except at 9 p.m. Because I'm watching Game of Thrones. Oh, yeah. I was like, okay, that's cool. I respect that. I'm not going to miss it anyway, so don't worry. And, man, the internet is just so cool, though, because I was like, I really want one of those cats. Googled it, found her, was talking to her 2 hours later about having one. I just think that's amazing. Yeah. That shit is fucking fabulous. If you got the money and you're motivated and you got Google, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. You want rocket launchers? They got them.
Imagine trying to get a concealed carrier's license for one of those fuckers. It's not possible.
It's not called a concealed carry license. It's called like...
This is my concealed rocket launcher.
Keep it in my boot.
It's coming right for us!
Oh my gosh. South Park reference.
Anywho, let's go on to Game of Thrones, because I didn't even really think of that. I didn't watch the whole episode, but I've seen enough spoilers. I've watched enough clips from that final episode, and... Damn, what an explosive opening.
Yeah, so, Cersei's trial opens up, and you're like, okay, Cersei's probably going to get executed, or she's going to have the Mountain come in and fucking kill a lot of the people there, and it's going to be done,
The Mountain is still alive?
The Mountain is that guy in the huge dude in the armor.
He's still alive?
Well, he got brought back with, like, some crazy-ass magic.
Okay.
Like, he was almost dead because he got poisoned so much by that blade by, I forget that guy's name, the guy that his head got popped, like a big zit. That clan, or that house, as they say, they use poison because they're the like Viper clan or something.
It's all adding up.
What was that?
That's Globo Gem.
Yeah, but what was that?
We will rock you.
So they're the We Will Rock You clan, and so they use poison on all their blades all the time. And so it didn't matter necessarily that he lost because the Mountain had gotten poisoned so much by being cut by him that he was pretty much going to die. And then one of the lower maesters that kind of knows like It's not blood magic. That's something else in the Game of Thrones universe.
That sounds like something from freaking Legend of Korra or some shit.
Yeah, it's not blood magic. That's blood bending.
Blood bending, sorry.
Different. It's not blood magic, but he brought him back, and now he's kind of a zombie, but not a White Walker zombie. Just as,
there are degrees of zombie in Game of Thrones.
yeah, there's very different kinds. But
I'm a super casual fan, so.
he can't talk. He can only kind of take orders from Cersei.
Okay.
So he was ordered to keep the king safe while the trial was going on, and little did they know, they had just stuffed a bunch of wildfire underneath the courthouse, whatever the hell it is.
That green shit?
Yeah, the green fire. It's called wildfire. And it was the Mad King's favorite method to kill people, because he would just put it under them and light them on fire, and they'd burn to death.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a great part and a powerful 30-minute opener. Like, I was like, holy shit.
Oh, that was like the first half of the
That
episode.
was the
just
first
a build up
to
that big explosion scene.
Yeah, and then she smiles, drinks her red wine, and then the young king kills himself because he's all sad because his queen got killed. Everyone got killed.
Yeah, like an hour after that episode aired, I went to Kotaku just to read some of the articles about it, because that's usually what I do. And like the first thing I see is just a gif of that king, the young king, just like jumping out of the window and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's fucked.
He's dead. And so, yeah, that was pretty dark. And then all of it was great. We find out that Jon Snow is actually half Targaryen, half Stark, which is the two best houses. So he's obviously one of the cooler characters now. It was a widely thought of fan theory, though, so it's not that crazy to think that. We find out that, what's her name? I always forget the princess's name, the dragon princess that's coming from coming across the
blonde one?
The blonde chick. Whatever, the other Targaryen.
Daenerys or something?
Daenerys Targaryen. Yeah, she's coming in across the island now because she has a whole bunch of people. The Greyjoys, God, there's so many names in this damn series.
The Weasleys.
The Weasleys.
The Grangers.
The Grangers.
The Potters.
The Potter. She's got all the houses behind her. And they're now sailing across the narrow sea to dominate the Red Keep. And they're going to fight Cersei's probably first up at the beginning of next season. Mm-hmm. And then you have Jon Snow, which is, you pretty much have the ultimate good force is now set up to fight the ultimate bad force. You know, you have Cersei's versus Targaryen, going on there. And then you have Jon Snow versus the White Walkers, which are going to go there. Mm-hmm. And Jon Snow's part where he becomes King of the North was just really powerful. I don't think you've seen that clip where he gets elected to be King of the North.
Yet.
But it's just great. Fucking Game of Thrones is just like, it's like you got a movie every Sunday. An hour long to an hour and 30-minute long movie that came out every Sunday.
I mean, I could definitely tell from looking at a lot of the clips from that finale, like the production value has gone up so much.
Just the Battle of the Bastards cost $10 million to make, and they filmed it in 10 days.
Damn, that's crazy. That's $1 million a day, man.
$1 million a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, and they also didn't really even have like a full production shot list or anything. They're like, we just have all these horses. We have some concepts. We'll just make it happen.
Let's just fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Let's just go crazy. If anybody has an idea, let us know.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they did. And it turned out great. I think the battle, usually, historically in Game of Thrones, the second to last episode is the battle episode. And then the last episode is the wrap up. And it did still hold true to that story because there was not necessarily battles. There was killing. It's Game of Thrones. It's like breathing.
Yeah.
But I was super pumped after this season. I was just like, hell yeah. And thank God Walking Dead comes back in October, to kind of quench
fill that void.
Yeah, that dark, shitty, not shitty TV. It's just dark, depressing TV void, that I'm missing.
Well, there is going to be something that I think will fit the bill there big time, and that's the brand new Berserk Anime series.
Woo!
Which just started today, which you've only seen a little bit of the first episode. You really haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it. But I had an opportunity to watch it today, and I reviewed it, and I released the review, and it's been a long time since I've seen an anime series get this mixed of a response. A lot of it doing the fact that the series uses a lot of CGI animation.
It does.
Which in anime sometimes can look really stilted and almost Muppet-like, if you know what I mean by that. Like, it almost looks like they're puppets. Yeah.
What's the Muppet song?
Come on, let's start the music. Come on, let's light the lights. We're gonna get things started on the Muppet Show tonight. Bum, bum, bum.
Bum.
Exactly.
Okay.
Classic theme right there. But you can almost apply that to some of the moments in the very first episode of Berserk here. But damned it if I'm not exciting for it. Like it's just.
I'm exciting too, Corey. For it. That's what you said.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
Point
guys,
is,
it's going to be good because
Yeah.
I've said it before. Corey said it before. We just want it to come out. We just want proof that this series is going to exist, and we're going to get past the introduction arcs, Golden Age arcs, and
we're going to go ahead and skip a couple of other major arcs, too.
whatever. Just get into it, man. They're going to get into the Berserk armor. They're going to get into a whole bunch of crazy shit
Hopefully they
away.
get to the Berserk armor. I think they will, though, but only because in the first half of the episode they show off the character of Shirk, who is the little witch.
Yeah, they also show off the older lady witch, who is the
And she
keeper.
has possession of the Berserker armor.
Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
And maybe it's even going to happen, which I have never seen happen in Berserk storytelling, too fast. You know, like, they're going to shove a fuck ton of stuff into each one of these episodes if they go that far.
The first episode, in many ways, felt kind of rushed, to be perfectly honest. I mean, they got through, like, the first part of the first chapter of the manga real quick. They skipped a few crucial stories, and they're already going ahead and moving into one of the major arcs, which is known as the Conviction arc, which involves the Holy Knight Iron Chains. Like, these guys are, like, hard fucking core. They're fucking awesome.
They're very much like the people in Game of Thrones, the hardcore Christian, the faith.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually kind of like that.
They're like what you never expect, which is the Spanish Inquisition,
Oh, yeah.
essentially.
Okay. I got no joke from there.
Just
but good.
that is the joke for the Monty Python fans out there. But yeah, that's kind of the way they are. I'm really kind of surprised that they're going ahead and getting into this. I really wanted to see the Misty Valley arc, which is the one with all the crazy elves and that moth girl who goes by the name of Rosine, who was slightly hinted at the very end of the Golden Age trilogy arc, but only for like a split second. So I know there's going to be hardcore fans who are going to be disappointed by that, but like even when I was doing my review, I was like, if I was to talk about the differences between the manga version and the TV version right now, I'd be going on all fucking day. There's just way too many differences at this point, and I've kind of reached that sort of homeostasis point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm okay with this, because even if it doesn't adapt my favorite stories, even if it ends up sucking major balls, I can always go back and just look at the source material. It's not going away anytime soon, and I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, oh, it raped my childhood. No, your childhood is there and it's still fine. Hence why when the new Ghostbusters is coming out, I'm going to skip it and just watch the original. Yeah.
Just going to watch the original.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing, though. Berserk, there is no original. All you get is the manga,
Yeah.
which is still the best way to watch it.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I mean,
so-
there's also the version from the mid-'90s, which I still think, holds water. I think it's a great way to watch the Golden Age arc, if only because there's a lot more characterization for Guts. This is going to sound weird, like, my recommendation is to watch the trilogy movies, and then all the stuff that they skip in those movies, watch that from the original show, and then when all that's done, watch the new version.
I just think, just go grab all the Berserk shit you can and shove it in your head, and then you'll be a darker, more sadistic person, but
Yeah.
you will have enjoyed a great series.
Exactly. Like I said, this is going to fill that Game of Thrones void, which, Game of Thrones can go into some pretty dark territory. Berserk can go into even darker territory at times. Hell, this episode right here had some really intense imagery behind it. I mean, it didn't take long for Guts to kill an innocent child, even though he had absolutely no choice but to do so in the first episode because she was possessed by some sort of creepy demon. Just, it was so damn intense. And the scenes that I did show you, even though they were very brief, mostly just the big action scenes, like, what did you think of those overall?
I just thought the action was good. I thought the action was well executed. It felt like Guts swinging his sword. Like, you could animate that or show it at angles that didn't feel like Guts, or didn't feel like the Berserk series in the way it displays action and impact. And when Guts hits something, he doesn't cut its stomach and then it bleeds to death. He cuts it in half. He explodes it. You know, like,
basically,
nothing survives when the blade.
it's never clean.
It's never, he just cut its arm and it's wounded in the corner. It's like, no, blam, and its head's off. Like, that's the way he kills things. And he has like multiple weapons. He's got his cannon arm. He's got his repeater crossbow.
All of them in the first episode.
Yeah.
Which is something that I really liked.
That was a good strategic move to put all that in there. It's kind of like shows you his weaponry now, And man, they could have just had him like learning about all that new weaponry and stuff like while he was recovering from the apocalypse and everything. But none of that happened, just
Like, I honestly thought the episode was going to open up, like, as soon as the movie version ended, him getting his brand new mechanical arm and testing out the Dragon Slayer for the very first time. They skip all of that, and they go ahead and just jump right into the fact that he's apparently been doing this for a while. He's been fucking up demons. They also introduced the character of Puck, who I think is going to be very divisive amongst people because he's already a very divisive character in the manga version, because he doesn't seem like he belongs in the Berserk series. Because he's the most, like, anime-centric character. Like, a lot of goofy expressions, lots of chibi-ized faces. But I think a character like that is almost necessary at this point in the story, just simply because how dark things are.
Yeah, here's the thing. You needed it. You needed that humanization. You needed that comic relief. You need that dude shooting the other dude in the ass after that other guy gets stabbed in Private Ryan. You need that shit. You know, like, you need the ebb and flow, you know? Like, without it, you just have an extremely dark lead character, and you're just wading through dark shit the whole time, you know?
And it can be exhausting.
Yeah, so what you need is that, and also fantasy is now gone from like a good 3 to 4 level to like maxed out level 10. Like, fantasy shit happens all the time after you get past the first arc. So having a fairy companion is a good thing, and the other characters are going to come in and have all the other humanizations that we need, a range of emotion, not just screaming and swinging the sword, you know? Because that's what Guts does.
Yeah, that's what he's best at.
That's kind of all he does.
Brooding and kicking ass.
Even he says that in some of the later arcs. He's like, I'm glad I have all you guys, because I'm not good at, like, dealing with people. I'm not good at this and that. Yeah, I'm only good at killing stuff. So it's interesting, and I'm excited, man. I think this is good. And, man, you can nitpick. You can nitpick this to death. The CG, they skipped an arc that was really cool. They,
changing the
story around, but they're getting into it. They're not wasting time. There's no trying to figure it out. It's just happening, you know?
I mean, this is a monumental thing for Berserk fans. We've been waiting for this portion of the story to be animated for so long. And by relative standards, we're still pretty new Berserk fans. Like, I've only been sort of, like, aware of Berserk for maybe about 5 years. So I'm still a pretty new fan, but like when I learned about it for the first time and I saw that original anime series, I was like, oh shit, this is something really special. As soon as it was done, I went out and I started getting the manga series. I even started purchasing the manga series. Like, that's how much I love that. I don't collect a lot of manga, but I collect the Berserk manga series because of just how damned riveting it is, how beautiful the artwork is, as fucked up as it can be sometimes. But it's been a fantastic manga experience, and to finally see that as an anime is just so gratifying and so great. And just, I can have a sigh of relief just knowing it's here now, and we can get through this, although we don't know how long it's going to last either. They haven't said how many episodes it's going to be.
12, 25,
I'm
ongoing
guessing,
forever, who knows?
I would love for it to go on forever, but, considering the first episode alone, man, this is going to be an expensive series. Especially because the pacing of Berserk, honestly, is pretty good, even in the manga version. Like, there's always some crazy shit going on for the most part.
Yeah, I think there's just, it's going to be good. I also understand. Let's look at it from the flip side. Yeah. Devil's advocate. These people have imagined this Berserk arc finally happening, but the current status of animation is they like to use CG on big action scenes. They like it. So people fell in love with the early 90s version, or is it late 80s?
Early 90s, or mid 90s.
Mid 90s. So people have fallen in love. They've grown up watching that. So that's kind of what they expect. They saw the new series that was movies or OVAs, which is always high quality for the most part. And now you have a series that's more probably a lower budget, has to be ongoing, at least for a few episodes. They have, let's say they get, I'm making up a number, they get 20 episodes and 20 million. So they have to put 1 million into each episode. That's probably way higher than they have. But the point is that that's the way they got to make it. They got to make it with what they got, and they've chosen an art style, which I don't even necessarily agree with. I don't know if I like this art style. But, let's see what happens. But I also understand why people had a vision for what they thought it was going to look like. Looks different, so they're pissed. But if the story's executed well and the action's good and the characters are right on, people will eventually look past that. And in a year from now or by the end of this arc, no one will care. I really believe that. Maybe some hardcore assholes will care, but besides that,
I mean, the current state of the first episode right now is that there's just a complete divide amongst people. Some people absolutely love it. Some people just cannot stand the CG animation, so much so that it's actually distracting to them and they can't enjoy the story because of the animation. Which, I don't know how much that's going to affect the series in the future. I mean, the preview for the next episode, of course, looks very similar to the first in terms of the animation and the art style and everything. But I'm digging it so far. Like you said, it's just to have this part finally be told is really the best part about it.
Yeah, I'm just happy Berserk exists.
Yeah. And it's metal as hell. The soundtrack is cool. Way more appropriate than the Golden Age movie trilogy, which I felt lacked a lot of the atmosphere of the 90s version. And this one is almost its own thing. Like, each version of the Berserk anime series at this point kind of has their very own atmosphere to it, but this one's very close to the manga version in terms of, like, what it's going for and, like, the feel of the Berserk manga series. Just so dark, grim, and extremely brutal.
Yeah. Down straight. Ready for it. Bring on the next episode.
Exactly.
Fucking release the whole thing on Netflix so I could have watched the whole series at once. Fucking Netflix ruining my shit. And that's used to that. Did you ever get into Orange is the New Black? Because my girlfriend loves that, and I've watched I watched the first 2 seasons, and I missed the third, and then I think the 4th just came out. I may be wrong about that, but I know I missed one.
I've not seen a single episode of Orange is the New Black.
It's like kind of like your lady drama shows, but it's intense and obviously well made and realistic because Netflix got a hold of it. But
lady drama.
But people can die, and like shit's hardcore. It's a very good show. So I actually recommend that show if you ever get a chance.
To be honest, I don't even know what it's about.
It's about this nice little white girl, kind of like what you think of when you think of a standard suburbia mom character, kind of like late 20s, getting into her 30s. And then she got into some crazy stuff, accidentally did some drug smuggling without knowing about it or something along those lines, and then ends up going to a minimum security jail for like a year and a half. And it's actually a story written from her autobiography of her interacting with everyone at jail. They take a bunch of liberties. They invest a whole bunch in other characters, and they all give these other characters mini arcs. And there's a lot of flashbacks because they want you to understand who these characters are and how they came to be in prison.
I feel so late to the party because now I think the title of the show makes more sense to me now, since I had no idea what it's about. Is it called Orange is the New Black? Is it because since they're in prison they wear the orange jumpsuits?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I get it now.
Yeah. That's exactly
I literally had no idea what that show was all about. I just know people talked about that one a lot. And, House of Cards, of course. Everybody's talking about that one still.
That would be House of Cards. Ah, man. That show got... You can't out-dark me or out-depress me in a show, but for some reason House of Cards did. Like,
really?
Wow. I don't watch it
Because,
anymore.
you're a pretty sick and twisted individual, so for you to say that.
Functioning member of society, Corey.
Taxpayer.
Yeah. Okay. Fucking own my own business and shit. I can watch whatever I want on my free time.
Have you dipped into the new Voltron show on
Yes,
Netflix?
Corey, and why you don't review that show blows my mind.
Really?
It is.
You've already watched
that
it
good.
all? Really?
No, I've watched the first 2 episodes, but
you know
it was
why you
great.
like it? Because the people who animated Avatar are doing it.
Well, it's great. The writing's on point. There's a joke every 5 minutes, and it's good. Each character's interesting. The lines look good. It's CGI too, so suck it, internet. I like it.
But it probably works better for a show like that, I think.
Yeah, but it feels like old school Power Rangers, but with modern writing. It feels like Power Rangers, but with like the Legend of Korra people writing it.
Okay.
And it's Netflix, so it's got deep budgets. And Netflix is investing in a lot more animated shows. Like, they understand animated shows. I'm not going to use the word cartoons. Animated shows aren't for kids anymore.
So this Voltron show, what age group would you say it's like geared towards?
Young kids to teenagers. I'm still saying it's a kid's show.
Which is to say, if you're a little older, you can probably enjoy it.
Yeah, you can still enjoy it.
Okay.
But all the characters are good. To me, it reminds me a lot of Legend of Korra. Like a lot, because the writing is on point. It's quick. It's witty. The lines are interesting. They all have their own personalities as well. The main characters, this blue chick with her X technology, or the old technology, like that invented the lions, is there, and she sort of walks all the characters. A bunch of space hoodlums. These kids didn't have a history.
Space hoodlums.
They all get a second chance. And
do they go through like the whole like classic, Voltron assemble?
Oh yeah.
And they do the whole transformation. Does it like stop and pose in like the sunlight or anything?
Oh yeah. What the fuck do you think this is? This is the real deal, man. This is great.
The only reason I was just a little wary, of course, is because this is a American production of a Japanese anime series.
But Voltron isn't a hard one to reproduce.
No, and Voltron was
Monster
already
of the
like
Week.
a butchered show.
It's Monster of the Week kind of a show until you probably get a few. I'm assuming Monster of the Week until you get in, and then you get a couple episode arc where you have to fight the main bad guy going into the end of the season.
Simple as that.
Yeah. So you know what you're getting, but it's well made, it's done right, and it's cool.
Yeah. How many episodes have they released?
I don't know. I'd have to look all that up. I'm guessing I'd be shooting from the hip.
Because I've gotten requests to look at that show.
You need to fucking...
I like mecha genre.
I don't know why you don't have my Netflix login so you can enjoy Netflix. Because I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. You heard it right here, guys. I'd offer it to Corey. Corey could be reviewing Voltron right now, and he's not. So you need to blow him up. You need to bother him at the wee hours of the morning
I already get blown up enough about reviewing certain shows. Like, tomorrow I'm going to be up very early doing my final comprehensive review of the Sailor Moon Crystal second season show, which I'm not really looking forward to that much because I still have to watch like 3 more episodes. But I've gotten so many requests for it that I really have to.
Wait, did you stop reviewing Sailor Moon like halfway through?
For a little bit, yeah.
For a little bit, or yes, you did?
No, I did.
Okay.
A lot of it because 1 is just busy, and 2 just busy, and I was losing interest in it. But I've gotten so many requests that I need to do it. I need to give back to you guys, and I do need to give my final thoughts on the series overall. But Voltron is something I might look into the future. I mean, I used to watch the old Voltron cartoon as a kid, and I thought it was pretty cool. I barely remember anything aside from the fact that it was basically just a bunch of lion robots that transform into a bigger lion robot, or a humanoid version of it at least. They have a big sword and they fight monsters, which is to say it's very similar to like Power Rangers or something to that effect.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, they're lions. One's the head, one's the leg, the other one's an arm.
Being the leg must suck.
Yeah, you know, they even make comments about that. Why got to be the fucking leg?
Yeah,
you know?
but what does the head do anyway? It turns from side to side. It looks at shit.
It looks the coolest.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I'm reminded of that classic episode of Dexter's Laboratory where Dexter and his family go to Japan and they fight against this giant monster and this robot that Dexter created. And it was the only episode of the series where his parents realized that their son is a genius. And there was like a whole sequence of them like fighting about who gets to choose what body part and everything. And that whole episode was kind of like an homage to Voltron and anime in general. Dexter's Lab is funny as shit. If that's on Netflix, I'll totally take your account soon, because that show's funny as hell.
It's good. You should check it out. Mm-hmm. It's fucking great, man. You know, it's just, I think the Voltron show's great. I think Netflix getting behind animated shows is amazing. Bill Burr, one of my favorite comedians, who is right now probably one of the best comedians in the world.
Yeah.
He has a show called F is for Family.
I've heard about that. Everybody says it's great.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
It's fucking good. Nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bill Burr in a cartoon, you know, and it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just him yelling at his kids. The fucking intro is him watching his dreams slowly get. It's a metaphor. He's flying free, you know, and then slowly, you know, like student debt gets attached. Kids, he's like, oh fuck, and he just falls, you know, like.
That already sounds like Bill Burr humor.
Yeah, it's very Bill Burr humor, and you know, a lot of sports jokes. That's the only thing about Bill Burr I can't get into. I don't understand sports, or the sports obsession is not in me. So when he also has a great podcast. I think it's called Monday Morning Podcasts, and it's just him literally ranting for an hour by himself.
Really?
And I think he puts it out every Monday. It's good. It's really good, actually. But he'll always talk about the fucking Patriots. You know, man, what do you need to do? I'm like, oh, don't care. You know, or whatever team he likes, the Seahawks, the Eagles, whatever the fuck it is, you know, the ball sports. But yeah, I'm going to look up really quick the new shows that Netflix is making.
They're definitely making strides. I mean, they were already popular a couple years ago, but with all these original shows, they are cleaning the hell up. And everyone and their mom is trying to sort of like replicate that, you know, Amazon Prime, HBO Go. I see that stuff advertised on TV all the damn time now. All these big exclusive shows, one of which had like, I think it was an Amazon show or a Hulu show, like it was all like James Franco, set in like the 1920s or something, like it was some sort of like gangster series. And what I love about it too is they have like free reign to kind of do what they want. It's kind of like their very own little HBO.
Oh god,
you know?
There's some shit here.
Some shit?
Some Skylanders Blizzard Studio. It's like they took all the WoW characters and they're making a kid show out of it. You know, there's like chibi versions of all the WoW characters. I don't know. Maybe that'll be cool.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
Skylander Academy, Activision Blizzard.
Skylander, that's the Spyro series.
Oh, there's Spyro. Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Blizzard Studios.
Yeah, that's how they kept the Spyro series from dying. Is they did all this like weird new toy shit. Yeah.
There's a.
I don't know much about the Skylander series that much. It's not meant for my age group though.
Oh, a lot of this kid stuff. Anyway, there's a few good shows, hopefully, in here that are coming out.
Yeah.
But I'm all about it. More great shows. You know, imagine if like Rick and Morty was a Netflix show instead. They'd come out a lot faster. They'd have a bigger budget, most likely, and you get the whole season at once.
That's true. I do like the anticipation though of like waiting for an episode to come out. Like I know that's an old school thing to say because I know I could just pretend that I haven't seen this episode yet. Put it aside. Put it in my queue. I'm not going to watch it yet. But I love when I watch a new episode of like Rick and Morty, and as soon as the episode is done, you get the next week on Rick and Morty, and you get to see the preview and this anticipation all week of seeing that episode, especially from Rick and Morty, which, God, I still love that show. I fall in love with it almost every single week just by rewatching old episodes. I'm so pumped for the next season. But yeah, they would have a pretty big budget if they were on Netflix, but considering what they do with their Adult Swim budget, imagine what they would do with that Netflix shit.
You know, we are talking out of our ass. We don't really know what normal Netflix shows budgets are versus, you know, like...
I mean, they're obviously pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You know, from what I've seen of the Voltron, like just from the previews, it does look really nice. And the people who worked on Korra, you know, I hate to admit it because I love anime so much, the Korra animation's fucking great. Like, it looks really good. Like, some of those action scenes are just damn perfect sometimes. And, you can kind of argue that for some American animation as well. A lot of American animation looks great. But
anime
again,
is
most
way
anime
more...
is mostly just a still image of a character in
with
their
a
mouth.
fucking moving mouth,
yeah.
But that can be done well, especially if you look back at the original Berserk series. That was pretty much animated manga drawings.
Pretty much, yeah.
That was nothing special.
There were a few scenes that were, you know, pretty elaborate, but for the most part, like whenever Guts was like going into a rampage, it would basically just be a still image of him going, "Aah!" And everything around him is, you know, getting killed, and it's just all red and black.
Yeah, so, you know.
But it still had so much impact behind it, you know, that's what was so special about it.
Yeah, so I'm excited about Netflix. I think they're doing a killer job. Excited about the new Berserk. Mm-hmm. Game of Thrones was awesome. What else?
That's it.
That's it? That can't be it, Corey.
That's it.
We got more to talk about.
Only other thing in the news is that Bryan Cranston is Zordon.
He's the only one that could have done it.
He's the only one. It's funny because Bryan Cranston, his original job was working as one of the monster voices on the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So his career has officially come full circle.
Who was he?
Was
he the lion guy?
He was not the lion guy. He was one of these monsters that they were fighting, which I think its name was the Snizzard, which was like this half lizard, half cobra creature. It was either that or it was some sort of like weird frog thing. You're looking this up now.
Yeah.
And it is funny because, you know, he started out as a voice actor. And when you hear the voice coming out of this monster, like, it doesn't even sound like... It just sounds ridiculous, as of course all...
Oh, I remember this monster.
Power Ranger monsters. Which one is it?
It's the, Oh, yeah.
I hope it's the Snizzard. That's fucking Brian. And now you shall taste my firepower.
Oh, and they're all exploding. I always wanted to know how they did the sparks.
From their cloth suits?
Yeah, like, how do they do that?
Kia!
I love their overacting. They're like...
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Power Rangers is on Netflix. My friend Ben was telling me about that. He's like, yeah, I've been watching the old episodes. Man, that show sucks.
Yes, it does. It is not that great. But, you know, it was... the
Can
camera...
I see that monster real quick?
No.
No,
Yeah.
you can't. Fuck you. Show me that monster.
Your weapons are useless.
It is the Snizzard. I had an action figure of this guy. I had an action figure of Bryan Cranston.
He is the one who... What was his Breaking Bad line? I am the one who knocks.
I am the one who knocks.
Yeah. I am the one that spits snakes at you as you overact.
We'll get Bryan Cranston as Zordon, and then we'll get, what's his name? Who played... Oh, what was his name? Who always said bitch a lot?
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Science, bitch.
Yeah, get him to play fucking Alpha 5.
Yeah.
Aye, bitch! God, I love watching old Power Rangers.
Look at that overacting.
And what's funny, too, is this is the Japanese part right here.
Yeah. This is all made in Japan, and then they just redub it, you know?
I love that that's Bryan Cranston. That's so funny. Man, his career has just gone through so many different genres. It's crazy. But I do like that it is coming full circle with him being Zordon. I wonder if it's going to be like full traditional, like he's the big head in the tube, or if they're going to try something a little different.
Look at that shitty jump cut. Look at that.
Let me take a look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Putty Patrol.
Watch this.
The way that it's just a hard cut to the putties appearing.
Yeah, it's
they just combined two shots together. They didn't even put any sort of. They could have put like a big flash or
flare,
something. Something to symbolize that the putties are there.
Yeah. No.
But we could spend this whole fucking podcast talking about the shittiness of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Maybe we'll save that for another time. Maybe reminisce about the old days. But that's going to be it for the show today, guys. Before we wrap things up, let me just take a moment.
Butt
Thank our
sex.
network, Rogue Intel, not butt sex. Rogue Intel. Now, Rogue Intel gives us the ability to speak our minds, and they give us the ability to have butt sex and be ourselves. So make sure to check out the other shows at rogueintel.com. And if you want to help keep the network going, make sure to head over to rogueintel.com/Amazon for all your shopping needs. It doesn't cost you any extra, and a portion of your total will go towards the Rogue Intel network. So I highly recommend you guys do that because there are a lot of great shows there that you can download for free. They're all awesome, but of course, the best one is the powerful Nerdcast. Thank you guys for joining us again. Like I said, next time we are going to try and do full video for those who want to see the video version. And we are going to be seeing the return of awkward imager readings. So make sure to stay tuned for those.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for watching or listening, or however you're consuming this. We enjoy that you listen, watch, or ponder along with us as we discuss nerdy topics. And to be honest, again, if it wasn't for you guys listening, it would just be us talking in a room looking crazy. So thank you so much for listening. And until next time, the Powerful Nerdcast is out.
Swifty bitch.